Hey, what is up guys, it is MurrDurrr here, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about whether or not Destiny / Bungie can come back. And when I say come back, I mean like if they are able to kind of get their fan base back, because from what I've seen, they have lost a lot of their loyal fans just from Destiny. Like, I've heard a lot of people have taken their games back almost immediately after they got it, which I did not do. I still enjoy playing the game and I still love the game. It's just that there are a lot of things that they did not do in the game that they really should have done to make the game a way better MMO altogether. So I'm going to be getting your guys' feedback in the video a couple times. I'll ask you if you can comment in the video about what your opinions are, just because I really enjoy looking back in videos and seeing how other people think compared to what I think about some topics. Now let's go ahead and get started. So first I'm going to be talking about the Cryptarch. Now, they actually did update the Cryptarch, which is probably the best thing that they have done since the release of Destiny. What they did, if you do not already know, if you get an engram, like let's say a blue or a purple engram, what this does is you will get an item either that is a blue, if you get a blue engram, or above, and if you have a legendary / purple engram, you'll get a purple item or above. Which this is probably the best thing that they've done yet, just for the fact that everybody was complaining, including me, how you'd get a legendary engram and like at least 80% of the time it would turn out to be a blue, which I thought was really stupid, because it was already like hard enough, and it was really rare to get a legendary engram anyways, and to the fact to like get one and then kind of get jacked, like you're not even getting the item that it like basically it's supposed to be. Like, it should be a purple engram, it should turn out to be a legendary item, it should not turn out to be a blue, because that's not even what it is. A blue should be a blue, purple should be a purple. Easy as that. So congratulations Bungie, and congratulations community. We've all come together and actually produced one good thing in the game since it has been released. Now what I'm going to be talking about is DLC. Now I want your guys' opinion on if you think the DLC is worth it. Now I am not quite sure, just because I don't exactly know what is going to be in the DLC. Now Bungie did say that the DLC, every single DLC, will include at least one, I guess, thing of everything. And now if you don't understand that, I'll give an example. It'll include at least one strike, one raid, one like PvP maps. I'm not exactly sure how that'll work, but it'll include one part of like each kind of I guess game mode. I'm not exactly sure what you'd call them, but there'll be like a new thing in every single category. If you're more into PvP, like you'll have those PvP maps. If you're more into PvE, you'll also have those as well. Now we're not exactly sure what's gonna actually be inside of each DLC, but they do look pretty cool. The problem is there hasn't been any new planets planned in those 2 DLCs for this year, which is really depressing, because I think Mercury should be like a giveaway. That should be a planet. I mean, they have already developed one multiplayer map that is set in Mercury, and that should be a planet that should easily be in there. I think Jupiter as well should be a planet that should be put into the game in one DLC. And if you're just adding a strike and a raid, those are only gonna last for a certain amount of time. They're not going to last for a really long time. They're not going to, like World of Warcraft, when they release an expansion, that expansion can be played for, they plan it on for 2 years. Like, they'll have updates that it'll add, which it'll add to that expansion, which I'm sure that's what they'll do, is they'll add to like each DLC, but I don't think it's going to be enough to keep people playing. They're going to have to add a lot more, because just from playing the game now, it seems like I get on, I do the daily stuff, and every single week I get on and I do the weekly stuff. Once that's done, I have no point in playing the game. There's nothing I can really do, considering I've already gotten like pretty much every single piece of gear that I can possibly get. I just have to wait till next week to do the raid, and just try to like work harder and try to get my stuff. But you're limited. You can't do that, just because you can only do one thing every week. So you can only do one raid every week to actually get gear for that raid, which and that's what most MMOs do, so I'm not like completely like blaming them for that, because it would make it really unfair if you could constantly do that. But I feel like they should have something to occupy people in the game, which this is gonna actually segue into like my next topic, which is dueling. Now, I think every single MMO should have dueling. Now, they do have PvP, which the Crucible is great. I like it a lot. The only problem is there's no way to actually like fight your friends. There's no way to compete between your friends. There's no private match, so you can't like see who's better. Because when I'm playing an MMO, when I played World of Warcraft for an example, I love to like go outside of the city that I was in and, you know, find other people and then duel them so I could see like who's better, or like if they're better I can learn what they're doing to help me out as well. But that isn't the case in Destiny, which I think is a really big issue. I think if they're not going to do dueling, they need to do something like sparrow racing, just so they can occupy the players once they've already done the weekly objectives and daily objectives, because I get on and there's nothing to do, because PvP gets boring, as well as like PvE things, because I've already done them. There's nothing I can really do in the game, and it makes me just want to go play another game, or just stop playing that game for the rest of the week until like, you know, next week occurs. Now, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is story progression. Now, when I say story progression, this is a question I want to ask you guys. Do you think that the DLC story progression, which they have admitted that there will be like progress in the story in the DLC, but do you think that'll be enough to where people will actually side in a good way towards the deals, or not towards the story? Because every single person that I have talked to does not like the story, or they just don't grasp it altogether, which I think it's really easy to understand. I just think there's a lot more that could have been done to it to make it more, I guess, relatable. Not necessarily like in the fact that it's relatable to you. It's just that you can connect to it, and it's like it's really immersive is what I'm trying to say. Like if you play Watch Dogs or Assassin's Creed 4, anything like that, you're immersed in the game. You feel like you're there, and you feel like you're actually your character. But in this, it just feels like I'm another Guardian doing the same thing as everybody else, which it doesn't make me feel special at all, okay? And, you know, I think that they did an okay job as long as they're able to actually expand the story as the game continues. But if they don't do that, I'm gonna lay it out straight. I don't see this game lasting 10 years, definitely. I see this game lasting a year, maybe 2 years, if that. So, that's my point of view. One thing I'd lastly like to talk about is leaderboards. Now, leaderboards aren't that big of a deal, but if you're not going to include dueling in the game, there has to be leaderboards. There are some leaderboards where you can kind of like compare to what your friends have done, but there needs to be straight up like world leaderboards so you can check your KD, because I really do, in this game was a game that I really wanted to kind of be like MLG about. I really wanted to do good in PvP. I really wanted to show my skill, and I am pretty good at PvP, not to brag or anything, but I wanted to show it, but there's no way of me showing it because there's no record other than like getting on my app and me personally checking what I've done. But I want it to be shared with the world. I want to like get on and see like, oh, I'm like 949 on the leaderboards. That'd be a really good feeling, but that isn't the case, which kind of stinks. It's something that's really simple that a lot of games have done, and I think it's kind of just like, it's just not smart for them not to include that. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Bungie, I love Destiny. I just think that there are a lot of things that they will need to do to actually keep their fan base all together, just like, you know, keep them connected, because from what I'm seeing, it's splitting a lot of people apart. It's basically dividing the people that enjoy the game and people that don't, and they're constantly going on and on about in the feedback or the forum section on the Destiny app, back and forth, like just arguing about if the game's good or not. And some people just say like the game's been out for 4 weeks, there's not that much they can do with it in 4 weeks. There's a lot of problems with other MMOs, which I understand that, but this is one of those things that like it's a new game, it's a new type of MMO. And it's gonna, like, for an MMO, you have to work really, really hard to be able to compete with other MMOs like World of Warcraft, stuff like that. And I think they did an okay job, but it's not enough to keep people playing for a long time, like the 10 years that they have originally planned for. So, if you guys would like to comment on this video, I'd really appreciate it. I'd really like to get your guys' opinions and see what your point of views are in the topics that I have talked to you guys about today. Now, I thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you do like things like this where I kind of talk seriously about video games, just go ahead and hit the like button. I really do appreciate seeing likes on my videos. It just shows me that I did a good job. And even if like you did a dislike on the video, it shows me that like, okay, they don't really enjoy this. I shouldn't do stuff like that anymore, which is also really helpful anyways. So I just want to say thank you guys for watching this video once again, and I will talk to you all later.